Hey, Mr. Martino, Mr. Flood, it's Tom Sullivan. I thought to be productive, I would record kind of my thinking about BETV. And it's going to be a little bit off because I don't completely understand it. I had a very cursory half-hour dump from Christian on it. But a couple things. One, I think we need to move to modern technology. I think we also need to move to modern available technology and ultimately technology that doesn't cost us anything. And I'll talk about how we actually do that. A couple of reasons for that. If you think about BETV TV and just general and how you watch TV, it's the network news, the local news. People aren't consuming information that way anymore. So that's one of the first things that we should think about. Do we really need to broadcast a television show short clip at the beginning of the school, at a certain time? And is that really the way of doing it? So that's fundamentally the first question. It's not how people are consuming news today. So and we don't have to debate that. It's a decision that you guys make. Another thing that lays into that decision is I looked at the technology that you have in place in at BETV. I honestly don't even know what it is. It's some antiquated system. I have no clue how to use it. I'm sure both of you have no clue how to use it. I think more importantly, the kids are going to have no clue how to use it, and you're going to be in a constant state of struggling with that. You have a couple of camcorders. I think there are two different types. They're antiquated and lots of buttons and lots of confusions. So with that, my belief is that you should shift to BETV being more than just television and a short broadcast. It should be information that is interesting to Eustis community, internal to Eustis, and even external. And we'll talk about that as well. Now, when you begin to look at information, you got to break it down at Eustis. There are what I would refer to as the official Eustis information that is disseminated, right? So that's at Dr. Croce's level or the teacher level. There's a lot of things that we can do a lot better with that. I think we have a community of kids that are exceptionally talented. They walk around, they can't leave their phone. They're very good with their phone, so they're quite good there. I think they're also very creative. They're very smart. They're very mature. I believe there's an opportunity for Eustis to structure things that they want to be communicated and have it driven through the kids, basically. So examples of that, Eustis News, like a weekly or a daily, what's happening, right, at a Eustis level. It could even be things like, masses. We want to capture a mass. We want to capture an event, a spiritual driven event, in a better way than just holding a phone up or doing a Logitech camera. The other thing that I think they're more than capable of doing is, you can give them initiatives like we're trying to improve enrollment, like we're trying to get science more popular, like whatever. And I think if you give them that framework and then structure that framework, and by the way, I'll teach you how to build videos in a stepped process. There's 5 steps that you do. I'm not going to go into it now, but it really breaks it down into very basic building blocks, and it's super easy. I've made 1,000 of them all over the world, and I've done it in an hour, whereas it used to take ad agencies months, 6 months, by the way. So it's got to be quick. It's got to be easy. It's got to be something that people can get their heads around. So I think that's a thing that I think would be a really valuable thing for Eustis to begin to teach the community to actually do. The other things are, I always had this dream of, I'm a big believer, and I had direct experience with Marley in that, video is a very good way to attract people into the school. It's also a very good way to place the juniors and seniors into colleges. Marley had a number of crew videos that posted and were seen by every, probably 60, 70 D1 schools. Now, I don't think video resumes is what I would refer to it as, is only limited to athletes, because I think we have the ability to, with a template, very easily have every person graduating from Eustis to walk up, film themselves, and say, "Hi, I'm Tom Sullivan. I'm a junior at Eustis. I've got a blah blah, and my skills," and build a very positive video resume. So I think that can help the kids do that. I think that can also be self-fulfilling. And by the way, everything that I'm talking about is meant to be self-fulfilled through the kids, with a little bit of structure that BETV would provide. And by the way, I've taught across. I worked for IBM. I've taught across IBM tons of people, partners, technical people, all sorts of people, how to do this structurally. It's very simple. All right. So that's one other level. That's one level. The next level is, there's a lot of really creative Instagrams. It's the sports teams mostly are driving. I would let that go. I mean, let them keep doing that. I think there's some structure that you could offer to them, but they're doing a really nice job with that. And that's that. So if you look at things that are missing at Eustis, like you need a Eustis wide YouTube channel, like a single place that all this stuff goes and is distributed. It can be timed, the distribution. It can also act as an archive. You need that. You probably need a Eustis Instagram, the equivalent, Instagram, because Instagram actually gets way more views than a YouTube video. So you need that, in the community. And the rest of it, I would just let the teams, the clubs, etc., drive. All right, so now we get into technology, and I'm gonna show you a bunch of things, and I'm actually prepared and happy to give you a number of these things. Now, there's a couple of things that you should know going on in my life. I'm selling my house in Philadelphia. I have a ton of things that I need to get rid of. So everything, with some exceptions, that I'm going to give to you is stuff that I need to get rid of, and I think you could really value from it. So the first thing that I think we have to recognize, and it gets back to one of the original points that I made, is that you can't go out and buy super expensive cameras, gear, kit, etc. You don't have the money for it, and be perfectly honest with you, it's extremely hard to use. It's complicated. I know, because I have all that stuff. I personally have migrated away from it all, and I'm capturing the equivalent level of material, content, video, on iPhones that are in my pocket, that are in your pocket, and that's where we need to head to. So every kid in the school, and every one of you, has an iPhone. An iPhone, as you're well aware, is a fantastic video capture tool, right? It also, often not used, is a fantastic phone, which has a tremendous audio adapter on it. And by the way, the audio is good within about 6 feet. So I want to encourage you, let's build out video capture using stuff that we already have in our own pockets. So I have a number of these, and 3 of these, which I'll give to you. So this is a cage, basically, with some handles on it. And what it allows you to do is, this is my iPhone. It allows you to actually take my iPhone, your iPhone, kid's iPhone, and actually install the phone in it. And now you've got a portable device that you can capture video. You can also mount them on a tripod. So if you want to securely mount it, you can do that, which makes it really portable. This thing is configured with what they call cold shoes at both handles, at the top, at the bottom. And in cold shoes, you can do things like you can add a light onto it if you would need that. And you could add a microphone onto it. You could add a variety of things on it, even a battery in the back to extend the life of the iPhone if it were a long program that you were recording. So we have three of these. So imagine what you do is you provide these from the ETV in a checkout vehicle, right? So you want to film something, anything, right? A club, an event, sports. You want to film a teacher, Dr. Croshaw, Dr. Ebner, saying whatever. Check this out, put it on a tripod, and I've already given you a number of tripods, but I'll give you 3 or 4 tripods. And the kids can just check these out, right? Now, the other cool thing is you had an iPhone that has a good mic in it. The mic is good within 6 feet. And after that, it gets not as good. There's a little device that, and I have a number of these. I can give you one version of it, and I'll purchase you this version of it as well. It's called a DJI mic. There's also a Rode mic. What's cool about these DJI mics is this little receiver right there. See it? Plugs into any iPhone or any Android, or for that matter, you can actually plug it into a laptop with a zoom camera on it. And now you've got portable wireless mics. And this actual version of it, this DJI version, that comes with 2 microphones, which is kind of cool. So now what you can do is you just take these microphones out, you clip them on. If I'm talent 1, I'm mic'd up. I can go 400 yards, not 400 feet away now. So think about that. So now let's say we're doing a mass. We could mic up a priest. We could mic up Dr. Croshaw, she's coming up. We could transfer, there's 2 mics. You could transfer the mics as different people come up, and you're rolling. These things, it's like $300 for these microphones. They are unbelievable. They're broadcast quality. You're going to get rock solid, awesome audio. That's cool because bad audio is bad video, and people won't watch it. So now kids coming in, grabbing a cage, grabbing the microphone, right? Grabbing a mic, and off they go and they record. That's pretty cool, and a good way of doing it. So I can give you 3 of these. I have a version of microphones, that 2 mics that I can give you. I'll purchase you one of these because I like these, and I'd like to give one to you. And then I've got lights that I can give to you, but you're not going to be using lights all that much. So that's video capture. All right. So now we get into the actual broadcast piece. Now, the system that you have, I'm sure you've looked at it. I mean, if you think it's great, use it. It's painful. There are other systems that have come out as recently as 2 years ago, and I have 2 of these that I can give to you. They're called Adams broadcast, and they're technically a broadcast switch. These numbers right here, 1 to 4, you plug cameras into them, and you just hit the number, and it switches the video. So it might be on this feed, I might have another camera, and it would switch. These have just changed the way broadcast works. I have 2 of those. Now, the negative to that, though, is you need 1 to 4 cameras, camcorders, and they're all wired. So now you got these HDMI wires all over the place. They're a trip hazard. They're a little fragile. So I just don't think that's the right way of doing it. Now, there's a new technology that has come out and it's made by Logitech. So you're familiar with the Logitech. We all probably use them and learned to use them during COVID. There's a new technology called Mevo, and we're looking at them right here. A Mevo is really pretty extraordinary. We at IBM we bought two of them. We're using them all over the world to actually capture things. What's cool about them is that's the camera. I've labeled them ABC. I'll explain in a later dates like why. But you got a camera that is 1080p, which is a good, very high quality. It's not 4K, but you don't need 4K because you're not going to distribute through 4K. 1080p, exceptionally high quality. What's cool about it though is you literally hook these things up. They're wireless, and they're wireless up to like 400, 500 feet. So now you can place these things anywhere that you want. Now imagine some scenarios. Scenario one would be we're at BETV and we have the network anchor, and we're keyed on her if that's who it is. You might have another angle on her. So you might have a wide shot, which has got her, and then an angled 45 shot. You might have someone doing news or someone doing something else. And you could position these cameras literally on the different talent. What's super cool about these things is the way they're controlled. You don't need this box anymore. You don't need a monitor. What you do is you have your iPhone or your iPad becomes the switcher. So what happens is you end up seeing all three cameras, right? And by the way, you can go up to like 8 of these if you want to purchase more of them. But you have all three cameras, and what you basically do is you say, I want to cut to camera A. You tap your iPhone and what you see on your iPhone, by the way, is you see what is being broadcast, right? And then you see smaller versions, A, B, and C, that are options to pick. Pick A, boom, it's on camera A. Pick B, it's on B. Pick C, it's on C. Really great technology. All controlled through an iPhone. So you've got an iPhone with a screen, someone sitting there and going, think, 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 and switching. Now, if you're super talented, you can also lay it right in front of you and be switching it. So you could be cooking food. You could be doing a variety of things. We've done crazy things where we have, researchers and people in development, cameras on them, and then we strap these things to disk drives or tape drives that go shooting down, and you watch. It's like an elevator ride as you watch these things move. So it's pretty damn cool. Excuse the French. So I think that's a technology that if you kind of agree with where I'm going with this, that I think would make a lot of sense and really good for Eustace. Now, the other cool thing about that technology is you can record right to Zoom. You all know how to use Zoom. I'm recording this on Zoom. You can, or whatever, Teams, WebEx, whatever, they all record. So these devices can hook right up to those things, to that tool, and you can then stream it, right? Or you could say, I don't want to do it that way. I want to just record it, and it will record right to your iPhone. Record it, right? Or you could say, I want to do both. Or even, if you got really good at editing, each of these come with chips that you can, microchips that you can put in them, and they work too. Microphones, they all have microphones in them, so they'll switch the microphone. By the way, if these things were placed in, say, the gym further away, you go back to this microphone that will get you, and you hook that up, and then boom, you're running. So I think that could be a really good direction for you all to take with that. Now, that device this thing is $1,000. I'm happy to buy that for you as well. So if we got to get clear on it, does this make sense for you? And then I'm happy to do that as well. Now, so the other things that I have that I think would be potentially interesting to you is I've already given you stands and lights. I have other portable lights. And now we shift to editing, right? Now there's a couple of choices. You probably haven't played with it, but every one of the kids have played with it. I play with it. There is a free available editing tool called CapCut. There's a variety of them. They're always coming out with a new one. But CapCut's right now the hot one. And CapCut runs on our iPhones, right? So you can capture on your iPhone, and then you can edit on CapCut right on your iPhone. Now, imagine that. So imagine if I got on and I was doing this, and then hi, I'm Tom Sullivan. Well, I want to kind of chop that off. You could just take your iPhone, it's already on your iPhone, or you could airdrop it to someone else that can do it with CapCut, and you can just chop that off. You could add music to it, you can add text to it, lower thirds to it, describing who's speaking. All of that can be completely done on CapCut, and you could run very simple CapCut classes. By the way, you don't even need to do that because there's a zillion of them already on YouTube. So you could have a kid or me or whoever go out and say, watch these CapCut editing tools, and you can use it. By the way, I'm not a bright guy. I learned how to use CapCut while driving and editing. Probably not recommended, but I did. So it's not that hard. So capture and edit on CapCut. Now, there's another higher level of editing, and a lot of the videos that I make for Eustace are edited on a professional editor called Final Cut Pro. Christian purchased a copy of that for the school, so you have a copy of that. I believe you also got a ThinkPad for that. Final Cut Pro, you'd be surprised. It's not hard to use, and we could easily train you to do that. Marley knows how to do that. Marley could very quickly get you up to school on it. I could get you up to the stuff on it. I could come into the school, teach you real quick. We could do a Zoom, and I could teach you remotely to do it. So we could get there. It's just a different level. So you've got Final Cut. I think a small group of people should learn how to do that, potentially, right? You've got a laptop to do it on, so that's good. I also have laptops that I can give you. This is an older Airbook that I probably made 300 videos on it. It works great, so I could wipe it. We could put Final Cut on it, and then you're rolling. I also have in the house, I'm going to rotate around. I have really good monitors. This is a widescreen monitor. This is another monitor for editing. What I could do for you is I don't need them because I'm moving, like I said. I could give those to you as well. I also have a really good desk that Marley's become educated on over the last 4 years from IKEA. It's white, it's clean, sleek looking thing, and that could be an editing desk that we could put in place. Additionally, I have lots of rolls. I have green screens, and I have lots of rolls of green screens. They're on a roll. They're basically paper. They're a big roll, and you can tear them off, stick them to a wall, and do green screen. Now, I'm going to tell you a couple of things about green screen. You don't even really want to go there. I mean, green screen is cool if I want to like eliminate this background, or I want to put a PowerPoint up behind me, or I want to maybe just put a black background. It's also cool if if you wanted to do something like if I wanted to change the background. Zoom has the ability, so does WebEx, so does all the tools. That it has the ability to actually change the background. So I could go and select. This is a background that we use at IBM. That there's a couple cool things. One, it says IBM. It's got our logo. You can also add on backgrounds. You can add things like QR codes. So you could be speaking about a subject and say the PowerPoint can be grabbed just by holding your phone up with the QR code and download it. Or if you want to learn more about Eustace or enroll in Eustace, there you go. These can easily, these are quickies. Like you build this in PowerPoint, you turn it into a PNG or a JPEG, and then boom, you can adjust your background. Now, what kind of stinks about Zoom and all the tools is they get a little weird. See how my fingers are disappearing, they're pixelating out. What makes that go away is you just put a green screen behind you, right? When you do that, it's rock solid. It looks great. So I can design, or you can design, the kids can design, uh, a Eustace backdrop now, which is kind of cool. So you could have, this wall of green screen with that paper that I had, or a green screen that we tacked to the wall, but I would just use the paper, and then boom, you're looking professional. So I have two big rolls of that I can give to you as well. So I think long video. Sorry. I think we have an opportunity to do a couple of things. I think we should really think about, do we want to be broadcasting once a morning over an antiquated network, over antiquated devices, or do we want to build programming that, like everybody in news is building, that people watch on their phone when they want to watch it, about things that are interesting about Eustace? I can tell you, uh, you'll get a lot more viewing about that. And there's ways of getting around. There's privacy things that you can do with YouTube, etc., where you can block, you can block people from viewing. There's things that you can time. There's a lot of cool things that you can do. But I think that's the way to go. I think that the trick is to use things that everybody has, that are in everybody's pocket, to extend that with maybe a cool mic, which is fairly inexpensive, and then maybe potentially, do this. And then I think you're running, and you're running hard. And then it's just a matter of, I don't know where you want to go with it and how you want to train people. Christian had thought about, running a curriculum, whatever. Yeah, maybe you'll do that, but it could be club based. But I'm a big believer in, you get a core group of sophomores and juniors. You get them trained. They all know how to use these things. You provide some structure that can enhance the things that are happening already, not forcing things, enhancing things. There's a difference, right? Let it keep going. They're doing a good job with that, but there are things that can be enhanced. And then I think at a Eustace level, I think there's some initiatives that Eustace needs to drive, and they can effectively drive them through video. You have a very talented community of people, as well as more talented community of students that can actually, given the right structure and the right message, can actually frame, what that story should be, and then go capture the storytellers or the story in unique ways. So anyway, looking forward to working with you guys. It'll be fun. Mr. Flood, I expect you to have the coin when I show up, or you will owe me a Coca-Cola. All right. You can explain that to Mr. Martino. Peace.